Hi, my name is Ashake. I am Heaven Sutton's mother. The 7-year-old girl was shot and killed on the west side of Chicago, June 27 at a candy store for the kids in the neighborhood where we stayed at. Me and Heaven was sitting outside the candy store. We had just closed up, and she came across the street to sit with me. 2 minutes later, 2 guys came from out the gangway, got to shooting at another gang member. She was shot in the back, and she died in my arms 20 minutes after that. And they caught one of the guys, and one of them is still at large. Heaven was a diva. She was a diamond. She was a beautiful 7-year-old little girl. She was smart, she was outgoing, she was spontaneous, she loved to dress, she was respectful. She got all A's and B's in school. I was just going to take her to Disney World right before she got killed, so she was looking forward to going on her Disney World trip, but her life was taken. However, she left 3 brothers behind. They real destroyed behind this. Really my whole family, you know, and she was just somebody that everybody should know. I took her to the beauty shop. This is where she get her hair did up here. I got her nails done. She wanted to be a police and a singer. And if you can look on my page, you can see her video. So it speaks for itself that she wanted to be a singer. And they took her life too soon. She was only 7 years old. People tell me that it was her time. It wasn't her time. You should never be able to bury your kids. Your kids should be able to bury you. Heaven died for stupidity, through gang violence. Me or my brothers, although we grew up in the street, my mother was shot and killed in 1994. Her murder was unsolved. Heaven died due to gang violence, retaliation. They was going back and forth shooting. I have 3 boys, 18, 15, and 11. I never will let my kids come outside in the area, so it wasn't because of my boys. For the record, she died because somebody else was trying to retaliate the death of another gang member's brother that they had just shot and killed a year ago. So it wasn't my fight, Heaven fight, nor my brothers, or my kids, or my sons. It was just something that they wanted to do. Whereas my brothers and myself wanted to get retaliation for Heaven's death, we didn't. We just really wanted them to turn themselves in and just go to jail for the rest of their life. Because in a situation like that, it's not a win-win situation by killing their family member because he just took my daughter's life. I didn't ever want that, and I still don't want that. Although one of them is in jail for Heaven murder and the other one's in jail for drug-related case, I didn't want that, and my brothers and them didn't either. I'd rather for them just to suffer in jail for the rest of their life than rather me either burying my brothers or taking care of them from jail. So it was never no retaliation, We still dealing with it like it was just yesterday. I contemplated suicide 5 times because my baby been gone. I can't sleep. I got bags under my eyes. I'm just crazy. And all this have left me homeless. My kids live in different places. I just keep going because I got friends and family that care about me. And the violence in the community. I feel that Chicago police, they only can do what they can. I blame it on the parents. I don't really blame it on the rappers. I blame it on the parents. If DCFS would stay out those parents' lives and let the parents whoop their kids' ass, they'll be better off. Instead of you whoop your kids, you go to jail or you get in trouble, they take the kids out the home. No. The mother and father got to raise their kids. The police can only do so much. They got problems. And now you don't even know what's going on with the youth today, So what we're trying to do is form a Million Mom March and get the mothers to come together to explain so they won't be blindsided on what their kids are doing. Their wardrobe, their friends at school, the kids hanging out on the corner, they're still their friends. They got to be aware of what's going on with their kids. A better awareness. The mothers know what their kids are doing. I sit back and listen to other mothers, like for instance, the son that killed my child. She told me and said that she didn't believe that her son was in the gang. He got gang tattoos, he been to the penitentiary before, he lived that lifestyle, and he got it on Facebook that he's about that life, that killer life, and his tattoos speak for itself. And with that being said, he got a dumb mother, because something else gonna happen to another one of her kids if she don't get educated on what's going on out here in the street, because her son is a killer. His friends are killers. They sell drugs and they gangbang. So we just trying to get together, the Heaven on Earth movement, and get the mothers educated to see what's going on with their kids. After school, before school, the summertime, the wintertime, you got to know what your kids are doing. Because if you don't, your kids will still be bringing guns in your home. And you still will not know anything about it if you sit back and just pretend like your kid is not in the game. But once you bury your child, you will then see that it was not a joke, and I was not just saying this here in 2012, because like it happened to me with Heaven, it'll happen to you. The movement that we're trying to put together, the Heaven on Earth movement, it says, Heaven on Earth, Mommy, I want to live 7. Heaven used to always tell me that she wanted to live, and she called me Mommy, and she was 7 years old. But in here, we got the guys with the dreadlocks, the grown man is passing the younger guy the gun. And it says, if you give a gun, you go to jail. Meaning that if you can give a young kid a gun and he go to jail, you should be held accountable to go to jail with him. Because the kid's not just picking up guns from, just anywhere. They're getting them from older gang members, or they ban them somewhere off the streets of Chicago. And on the back of here is some information about the movement, what we're trying to do, a safe haven in your home with the mothers. And my number is right here, my name and everything, and we hold meetings at this particular address right here on Chicago Avenue in Lockwood every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We're just trying to get the mothers to be aware of what's going on. And for everybody that's on Facebook, y'all need to support this movement, because you giving me 200-300 likes, but there's no one coming out, to support this movement. But me, myself, coming from the street, I know the reason why. You're down to the fact, because you know that your kids are selling drugs and gangbangers, so you don't want to exploit yourself and your kids. But as soon as one of them get killed or go to jail for the rest of your life, you're going to be feeling like you should have came to that movement just to get some information about what's going on in Chicago. Because our kids are steady dying. Bury the violence, not our kids. That's all I have to say.